So good morning.
Good morning.
It's a little loud. Good? It's okay. A special welcome to all my visitors that have come, or to all of the visitors that have come today. My name is Patrick, or Pastor Pat. And I'm the youth pastor here at Eastside. Now, most of you know I normally don't have a problem with talking. Hold on, I got to read this. There we go. But the word that you will be hearing today will not be my own, but from the one that gives us all breath and life, Jesus. Today the sermon will be a bit different. It will be more of a testimony of where I came from and how I got to where I am today. As with everything you do, you need a foundation to start something, a foundation to build on something, to build something on, and a foundation to return to when things don't always work out as you planned. So spiritual foundations. As we started planning the youth service months ago, I had an idea as to what I wanted to talk about. Started putting words down on paper, started looking up scripture. But that idea sort of fizzled out. Then I had another idea as to what God wanted me to talk about, but that fizzled out as well, because that was not where God was leading me. 2 weeks ago, Mandy and I had the pleasure of traveling to Kansas City, Missouri to attend the U.S. and Canada Nazarene Youth International Leadership Conference. While we were there, God spoke to me and very, very clearly told me what I needed to talk about. So why Kansas City? Because this is where my foundation began. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri in January of 1974. Now, like most foundations that are being built, you look at them from afar until they are ready to be built, to build something on. We'll use this chair right over here as an example of my foundation. And that's my son that's going to help me out right there. Thank you. The foundation has to be set up correctly, and it has to be filled with the right stuff in order to be able to hold the structure that will be built upon it. Everyone's foundation is filled with different things. My foundations begin with my parents. My mom and dad met at Mid-America Nazarene College, located in Olathe, Kansas, which is just outside of Kansas City, as part of the pioneer class. Part of the pioneer class in 1968. Even though I was not yet born, they were set in the lines and formed my foundation. 3 years later, my brother Robert was born, and my dad graduated from seminary in 1977. That summer, we moved to Hickory, North Carolina, where my dad took his first pastoral ship. It is here where I have one of my earliest memories. One of the things that Nazarenes pride themselves on is loving others as Christ loved us. And that includes anyone that is different from us. This was cultivated in my foundation when one of the people that was a member of that church was in crutches. She had polio. Now, for someone as young as I was, because if you remember, I was 3, it was different to see. While she could walk with crutches and drive a specially modified car, she was still different to look at. But everyone in the church loved her for who she was, and her love for God, and everyone was apparent. This unconditional love and acceptance is something that has stayed with me to this day, and it is probably the first memorable item that was placed in my foundation. Next, in the summer of 1979, we moved to Durham, North Carolina, where Dad was an associate pastor at the Durham Church of the Nazarene. Here, my foundation continued to be filled, and I started school and became immersed in all the school stuff, or the school-age stuff that goes on at church. I was involved in children's Bible quizzing, vacation Bible school, Sunday school, learning to say my prayers, and being mentored by men of the church. And so far, my foundation was filling up with any problems. But unfortunately, foundations have to weather storms while they are being built. My parents' marriage ended when my dad left when I was 8. This left my mom as a single mom of 2 boys, half a country away from her familial support, which was still in Missouri and Kansas. A man named Larry and his wife Joan stepped in. Let's see if I can tell there.
We cannot.
Okay. Stepped in and started mentoring me in what it was to be a Christian man and became my fatherly figure. His love and mentorship made sure that my new foundation was still intact and would not lose any of the stuff. To help my mom out during the summers, because keeping up with kids during the summer with no school can be challenging, if not impossible, for a single mother. My brother and I started spending summers in Cassville, Missouri with my grandparents, who are located down there on the bottom. Preacher Bob and Patsy Hunt for the next several years. During these summer vacations, Robert and I would help my grandpa around the church, doing all the things that we would do, that he would tell us to do. We helped with the VBS stuff, helped clean the church, and one thing I always did, teens, and you'll understand why I'm saying this, would I was always go and help him pick up people from all across town and bring them to and from church. So I haven't changed. His sermons were very easy to understand, and he interacted with the congregation throughout the whole sermon, even stopping to correct some of the actions of some of the younger ones, like me and my brother, a couple of times. So by now I'm 13 years old, ready to join the youth group. And from what I remember, there were not many in the youth group in Durham. Just like a couple of years ago here, there weren't very many of us here. But I'm excited. It was during this move to the youth group that I became a member of the Nazarene Church. I went through a membership class that went over what it was to be a Nazarene and studied the manual to learn the do's and the don'ts. In 1985, my foundation took another hit against it. My grandfather was killed by a drunk driver on his way home. I couldn't believe it. It was probably the first time I asked God the question, why? My grandpa, the one that would drive all over town to pick up people to bring them to church. My grandpa, the one who loved everyone and always had a joke up his sleeve. My grandpa, a preacher and a man of God. I felt lost, and it was again Larry that helped me through my loss and pain. He talked with me a great deal, and we went to his word to find comfort. God always puts people in your life that will help you in your time of need. And for me at that time, it was Larry. A happier moment comes when my mom gets remarried when I was 15 on March 19th. Okay. So, let me go back. A happier moment comes when my mom gets remarried when I was 15 on March 19th, 1988. So happy anniversary, Mom. But that was short-lived. Because I'm going to take a look at this part of my life because this was another significant event. Charles came into the marriage with a woman who had 2 grown sons. Again, I was 15 and my brother was 12. I, for the most part, had been the man of the house for almost 8 years. It was hard on both of us making the transition as he tried to step in and be a fatherly figure, and I had to relinquish some of the roles, or so I thought were my roles, being 15 and all. Mom and Charles decided to change churches, and we started to go to North Raleigh Church of the Nazarene when I was 16. So I'm looking at my foundation. I can see it. It's got form, and it's got a shape, and it's got some pretty good stuff in it. But I can see it isn't settled yet, and it still needs more support. Let's do one at all. Okay. So the youth group in North Raleigh was a pretty decent size. I'm guessing it was somewhere around 30. We had a great youth pastor named Pastor Dave Watson. I was involved in a lot of the activities at the church and did as many of the district activities as I could. I did teen quizzing, Bible studies, small group lessons, continued in Sunday school, the NYI lock-ins, and in my senior year was selected to serve on the youth ministry team called Impact. Serving with Impact my senior year really helped round out my foundation. We went to a different church every month to provide an evening Saturday service, Sunday morning puppet ministry for the children, and sang music of the day for morning worship. It was during this year of my life that I first felt called to the ministry. But life isn't always easy or perfect. Peer pressure when I was in school was hard. I can only imagine the pressure that you guys go through every day. My relationship with my stepfather was not the best. We had several run-ins due to our both thinking we were in the right, and it culminated in an altercation that changed our relationship and put a strain on the relationship between me and my mom. I didn't have my grandfather. Larry had since moved away, and I turned to my youth group for love and acceptance. I had a great foundation, and during this time in the youth group, I began to be challenged to define my walk with God, to look at the stuff that was in it, and to try and understand the importance of all my activities and experiences in church, at church camps, and other district events became more tangible and real. So by this time is the summer of '92. And I'm ready to graduate. And I have this really cool picture with a whole bunch of hair. But obviously it's not up there. Yeah, keep laughing, thank you. I'm ready to head out into the world. So it looks full, and it looks like it can hold whatever it wants built on it. I thought I had all the answers. But in reviewing what Wes read in Matthew, let's see if this works. I must have uploaded the wrong one. Verse 24 in Matthew, it says, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who has built on his house on the rock." And then verse 26 reads, "Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand." You see, my foundation was good. My foundation was filled with a lot of things, but I wanted to build something on it by myself, without Jesus at the center, instructing me on what floor plan to use and the appliances that needed to go in it. And I wanted my foundation where I wanted it to be on my own terms. I'm just going to finish. So I went through the next couple decades doing my life on my terms. And life was not exactly what I thought I was going to have. It certainly was not perfect. I'll go over some happy moments. I got married. My son was born. I joined the Marine Corps. Deployed a couple times, and after 3 years received orders to Texas where my daughter was born. While in Texas, I felt that I was needing something. You know that feeling that you get when you just know that there's something missing? Well, I had it. And I started to look for a church, and I found one again, and felt that I heard that call to do something else. But with happy moments, there are always sad moments. The day after I checked into my duty station in Texas, I received a phone call from my mother. That my brother Robert was no longer with us. I'm sorry. I was in shock. How could this be? Again, why? Was a question that kept entering my head. Robert and I just had the best phone conversation we'd had in years. A few days prior. No arguing, no fighting, no bad words, and now he was gone. I was devastated. I turned to the church that I was going to and started working with the youth group for support and acceptance. After a couple years in Texas, I received orders moving us back to North Carolina, where I joined a unit that deployed 3 out of the next 4 years to Japan and Iraq twice. This took me away from my family, and the stresses of being apart led to my divorce and the every other weekend visitation with my kids. I felt my house was coming down around me, one room at a time. I received orders for another move that would have sent me to Denver, and my kids asked me if I had to go. It broke my heart. I refused those orders and took orders closer to home. I received orders to another unit in North Carolina where they wanted to send me to California for a year, and I decided at that time my kids were more important. I got out of the Marine Corps and went to school for a new career, decided to become a respiratory therapist. Still living life on my terms, I was still living life on my terms, but my house was not as big as it once had been. And it was not as solid as I thought it was. I was living on sand. I met a woman while I was going to school and thought she had the answers. She was well educated and well traveled. She got a new job in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and I followed her after graduation with my respiratory therapy degree. I got a job at Gaston Memorial, right down the road, and began my new profession. My life was still on my terms, without his guidance and input. And slowly, as that relationship began to fail, the final rooms of my house began to fall off the foundation. But this is where I begin to listen to the words in my head. His work that has been going on around me begins to come forward. Of all the hospitals in the Spartanburg and Greenville area, which there are 4, I couldn't get a job at any one of those. But I could get a job here. After I told my mom where I'd gotten a job, she told me about a chaplain there that I should look up. I was definitely in search of something, and through my mom, God placed Joe in my path at a point when I was ready to listen. I met Pastor Joe in the emergency room one night, and I think I said, "Oh, you're the guy my mom told me." And I think you said something to the fact that, "Yes, that's me. My name's Joe. Glad to finally meet you." What I didn't get from Joe was, "Yes, I am Joe. Your mother wants you back in church." Even though that's what she wanted. Or I didn't get, "Yes, I know you've been out of church for a while, so come by and we'll talk." Over the next few months, we saw each other in the ER or during other code blue events where our presence was required. Again, just a simple hello, and that he was praying for me. I also met someone that I had a lot in common with. This person would end up turning my world upside down. We had similar backgrounds and similar interests, and we were both looking for something more. If I had a clicker right, you would see a picture of my wife, Mandy. She loved me unconditionally for who I was. And when we got together, it wasn't too long before we stated we needed to find a church. She had never heard of the Nazarene before she met me, coming from a Lutheran and Baptist background. So she was a little apprehensive about coming in the beginning. I told her about how I remembered my time in Hickory, and we just accepted anyone, no matter what. I remembered as a kid and a teen that there was a church in Pineville. But when I found out how close Eastside was, we decided to give it a try. We came a few Wednesdays, then a couple of Sundays, and fell in love with the church. The way Pastor Joe preached and interacted with the congregation reminded me of my grandfather's church and his preaching. So after attending a few months, I started asking questions about the youth group. I felt that there was a need that maybe we could help with. So we came to a lock-in and met some of the teens. And one of the first teens that I can remember is Malik. In fact, I think he adopted us as parents. After that, Mandy and I talked, and we decided that we needed to start helping with the youth group. We started helping on Wednesday nights, and then started taking on more responsibilities with the youth group, ultimately leading to my selection as the NYI president, and most recently as the youth pastor. So after all of this long-winded explanation of my life, what is the point I'm trying to get across? What is it that God wanted me to share with you today? So I'm going to look at my foundation again. It's still full of all this great stuff. And again, it's now a clean slate. Ready for something to be built on again. When I started to listen to God, and because I started putting Him first in all that I did and loved Him as He loved me, He moved my foundation off of the sand and put it at the base of Crowder's Mountain. And everybody knows Crowder's Mountain is pretty rocky. I started to put all that stuff that I had learned in my foundation into practice. I leaned back on my foundation that has weathered all my life's disappointments and failures and put God first again. With God at the center, my house is now under renovation, and since the move, and it is stronger today than it ever has been. But some of you may look at my foundation and think, well, I didn't have any of that stuff growing up. I don't even know if I have a foundation. I have baggage. I have a past that no one knows about. There are too many things in my past that won't let me move my foundation out of the sand. But you do have a foundation, and you don't need to worry about all of your stuff. Whether you've been coming for a few weeks, or if today is your first day, take a look over here. That chair represents a foundation. It is ready for you to start filling it up. In Isaiah chapter 43, verse 25, it reads, I, even I, am He who blots out your transgressions for my own sake, and remembers your sins no more. So all of your stuff can be forgotten when you give it to God. God is ready for you to start learning the Gospels, the parables, the Psalms, and His Word. He is ready for others to mentor you, to pray for you, to give you the unconditional love that He provides all of us. All you need is to set yourself free from the chains that are holding the gate closed and keeping you from your foundation. But when you start building your foundation with His stuff and putting the things you learn into practice, your foundation will be placed on a rock, and you will always be able to lean on it. A foundation that will hold true during the storms of life. A foundation that will never fail.